Gaslighting Roadrunner Motors. According to Political Dictionary, the term political gaslighting is, quote, a form of psychological manipulation that seeks to sow seeds of doubt in a targeted individual or group. It makes them question their own memory, perception, and sanity. The tactic relies on persistent denial, contradiction, and lying in an attempt to delegitimize the victim's belief. When it comes to the Roadrunner Motors in Cathedral City, the COD board continues to gaslight the topic in order to confuse you, in an attempt to dispel their mismanagement and decision-making that has cost you, the taxpayer, millions more in construction costs due to their delays, deceit, and disinformation. Here is a prime example of gaslighting by trustees Bia Gonzalez and Aurora Wilson at the July 21st, 2022 board meeting.
When was this property originally purchased? Do you have an estimate of the year?
And 15 to 17, somewhere in there. I don't remember exactly. I wasn't in part of the purchasing part, but I think it's somewhere around there.
The real date that COD purchased the land to build Roadrunner Motors was July 18, 2019, when the board unanimously approved the authorization to purchase it in closed session and reported it in open session. Trustee Fred Jean motioned the board and Trustee Wilson seconded the motion for a 5-0 vote. All current board members except Trustee Gonzalez were on the board at that time. Here is the video.
Also in closed session, a motion was made by Trustee Yant and seconded by Trustee Wilson to authorize the superintendent president to enter into a purchase and sales agreement for parcel numbers 687, 510-53, 687, 510, 55 in Cathedral City, California. The motion carried with 5 members voting in favor and 0 members voting no. The motion carried 5-0.
So, I mean, I just think that it's, worth pointing out that, if the property was purchased during that time frame, here we've been, a couple months in, and we've been able to move this project quickly forward. Where I'm not sure why there was delays. And I don't know, maybe some of the, Bonnie, you've been here a long time. I'm not sure what the delay was from the original time the property was purchased to, getting it to this point, right? Where it gets approved and then it continues on for the approvals that are necessary, but.
Trustee Gonzalez uses false timelines given by Mac, who admits he doesn't know the exact date, to accuse the previous administration of delay, when the reality is that the current board paused the project around April 2021 and created more than a year of delay during an era of inflation. Here's how quickly the previous administration worked to put Roadrunner Motors in place. After the board approved the purchase of the land in Cathedral City to build Roadrunner Motors in July 2019, COD put out a request for qualifications for professional architectural services in September 2019. The deadline for RFQs was October 1, 2019. On September 13, 2019, Dr. Annabelle Neri sent out a letter to invite the following people to work on the facility project work group. The work group went immediately into action, and the architectural firm was secure and began to develop architectural plans for this site. When Dr. Kinnaman retired in March 2021, the architectural schematic plans were well underway, with an estimated construction start date in the summer of 2022. No construction has started, and here is why. Shortly after Dr. Kinnaman retired on March 31, 2021, COD paused the Roadrunner Motors project. Under board chair Aurora Wilson started to look at the alternative locations outside of Cathedral City as shown by this closed session board document on June 24, 2021. We still do not know who suggested the site changed and why this was being looked at. Moving on in the board video, Trustee Gonzalez further praises Dr. Garcia for her leadership and thanking her for moving the project forward as if she was some sort of hero.
I'm proud of us, and thank you, Dr. Garcia, for your leadership and being able to move this forward and bringing it to fruition, that many years in.
Remember, the board was looking at alternative locations by June 24, 2021. Dr. Garcia began her role as president of College of the Desert on August 20, 2021. And by October 27, she issues a press release stating that Roadrunner Motors in Cathedral City will not be going forward, and that the college will be looking at alternative sites. The city of Cathedral City and the public were shocked at this unilateral decision without any public input. Here is a video to remind you.
The mayor of the city of Cathedral City is not pleased with COD's decision.
It's a shock when you go through years and years of a collaborative process, identify a need for vocational training such as this, and then suddenly there's just an announcement that all the funding now has been taken for some other undisclosed project.
In December 2021, Dr. Garcia reiterated on KESQ that COD was looking at other locations for Roadrunner Motors due to increasing costs at the previously approved location, and that she personally was not in favor of the original Cathedral City site. Here's the video.
We are committed. The board will have an opportunity to select a site, including the one that it was slated to be built on. I want to make it clear, I personally don't recommend that Roadrunner Motors is built there. Why? Because I take the responsibility of managing the funds that the community has entrusted in us very seriously. And you do expect inflation costs when it comes to construction, but not 70% or greater.
After months of delay by the COD Board of Trustees, the city of Cathedral City and concerned residents held a public rally on April 2nd, 2022, in front of City Hall to further pressure the board to stick to the original site selection adjacent to the Cathedral City Auto Center, as an analysis conducted by a third party showed nothing at the site that would cause excessive costs from any other site.
That's 6.
Residents and businesses in Cathedral City calling on College of the Desert to stick to its plans to build an automotive training center there. It's one of the projects the school has put on hold along with the Palm Springs campus amid questions about the use of hundreds of millions of dollars in bond money that voters approved. News Channel 3's Jake Gracia has more tonight on a rally planned for tomorrow morning.
Organizers of Saturday's rally say that COD is excluding the public from its decision-making process. They say that students here in Cathedral City deserve access to education, which includes the Roadrunner Motors Training Center.
I would like COD to reconsider their decision-making to relocate the Roadrunner School and continue with their commitment to invest in Cathedral City.
Andy Jessup Jr. wants to put some pressure on College of the Desert to deliver on its promise to build an automotive training center near the Cathedral City Auto Center.
Offers opportunity for those that are high school educated or have a 2-year degree to come in and learn a trade, earn a very desirable income, provide for their families.
In fall 2019, COD bought this parcel of land in Cathedral City for the project. But earlier this year, officials identified expensive challenges to the site, including extensive grading needed, massive storm drain improvements, and a traffic light on Highway 111. Problems COD President Martha Garcia said would bring the project more than $13 million over budget. Cathedral City submitted several alternative sites, but COD is now also considering a site in Indio near the I-10 Auto Mall.
They bought an ideal piece of property within Cathedral City. They made the right decision then, and I think that they need to make the right decision now and bring that program back online.
Cathedral City Economic Director Storm James says millions of taxpayer dollars have already been spent buying the land and designing architectural plans.
We want them to move forward on the property that's best for COD, it's best for our residents, it's best for the valley, and it's best for the auto centers in the valley.
Another push for College of the Desert to stick to its previous plan. Jake Gracia, News Channel 3, Cathedral City.
On April 2022, the board reviewed 3 locations to build Roadrunner Motors. They included the original site in Cathedral City, an alternative site in Cathedral City, and a location in Indio along the I-10 Auto Mall located in Trustees' Gonzalez district. Their review concluded that all 3 sites exceeded the original budget estimates, and that the original site selected back in 2019 was not significantly higher in cost than any of the other sites examined in 2022. To further gaslight the topic, Trustee Aurora Wilson attempts to blame more than 15 months of delay on COVID-19.
Just to add, I think part of it was the COVID-19, where for 2 years, a lot of construction, not only of our, going on here, but all over the country, pretty much stopped, cost of materials, et cetera, and delay, and yeah. So that was part of the.
It's a good thing you bring that up, because I'm sure that that's going to also contribute to increased costs.
Oh, yeah, now, yeah.
Supply and demand and everything else.
I will just add, if I may, Trustee Perez, I expedited construction projects during the pandemic at Imperial. It was a good time. We didn't have students on site. I had 10 projects going on at the same time, obviously not at this scale. So maybe that was a reason for this institution, but there were other factors that impacted the delay, of which one of them we've clearly stated, cost, the tremendous rise in cost.
But as Dr. Garcia states, COVID-19 caused no delays in construction when she was at Imperial Valley College. She puts the blame of delay solely on the cost of the project, a cost that she perceived was out of step. Unfortunately, their decision to cancel the project delayed architectural design and schematics during an era of inflation. The amount to build Roadrunner motors is now $4 million more in cost than when the COD board allowed Dr. Garcia to cancel the location on October 27, 2021. At no time did any current trustee object publicly to the cancellation. That decision not only wasted taxpayer money, but delayed the opportunity for students to get trained at the new facility.
Yeah, because if it was purchased in 2015, you're talking about 7 years. That the property was there. If it was closer to, 2017, maybe 5 years. But I still think that, I just want to thank the board and, cabinet leadership for moving this, quickly forward. And just to point out the timeline, I think it's important, for us to keep the community informed as to what the process is, where it's been, where we are, and
For the sake of transparency, don't let trustees Gonzalez and Wilson gaslight you into believing their deceit and disinformation. They should be ashamed of their dishonest tactics.